Hi, I'm Uzma Syeda, and today I'll be talking to you about our paper, Design Study Lite Methodology, Expediting Design Studies and Enabling the Synergy of Visualization, Pedagogy, and Social Good. I hope you find this useful. I would like to start by telling you about the Chester Square Neighborhood Association in Boston, Massachusetts. The historic Chester Square neighborhood in Boston is next to my institution, Northeastern University, in the South End near Roxbury. The Neighborhood Association works to bring together everyone who lives in the community, share information, and promote the implementation of programs beneficial to the neighborhood, including safety and security. The president of this association is Carol Blair, and she, along with the members of the board, need to tackle important issues such as new developments in the community, transportation, and pollution. Having these responsibilities also mean poring over dozens of documents and gathering data to present to the City of Boston in support of the neighborhood. However, the association lacks volunteers, expertise, and finances to fully analyze the necessary data. Therefore, they cannot present their data to the city with effective visualizations. This scenario is not unique to the Chester Square Neighborhood Association. Most nonprofit and community organizations such as neighborhood associations, schools, and food banks lack these resources. They commonly have essential operational data in the forms of spreadsheets, text documents, and maps for which important data analysis need to be conducted, which they cannot afford. This lack of data visualization expertise can negatively affect their goals, such as increasing and broadening participation, communicating their effort to funders, and increasing their community impact. Now, let me introduce you to Michelle Borkin, a professor who teaches data visualization to undergraduate and graduate students. She wants to teach them about design studies. Design studies are a form of problem-driven research in which visualization researchers investigate and solve a real-world problem faced by domain experts through visualization of their data. Design studies are a canonical type of research in the visualization community with hundreds of instances in the literature. Models and theories such as the nested model by Munzner and the design study process by Settlemare et al. Are well established for conducting design studies. However, Michelle has a problem. Design studies typically take several months to even years to complete. For this reason, most visualization educators do not run full design studies as part of their curriculum. This exclusion of design studies from visualization pedagogy creates a gap between budding visualization students and researchers. So, how could Michelle have her students experience the full design study process in just a single semester? Let me also introduce you to Dan, an undergraduate student majoring in data science in Michelle's visualization course. Dan has learned the essential components of design studies in his visualization course. However, Dan does not know how to implement these skills in the real world to help real stakeholders like Carol. Even though students like Dan has the ability to help out organizations like Chester Square Neighborhood Association, their curriculum does not empower them to do so, and therefore the community goals of these organizations remain unmet. To solve these problems and to teach and execute design studies that fit the duration of a typical semester, we present the Design Study Lite Methodology, DSLM, a novel framework for implementing design studies with novice students in just 14 weeks. Professor Michelle Borkin applied DSLM to her courses across 5 semesters starting from spring 2017. In our paper, we present this curriculum in which students like Dan not only learn visualization design studies in 14 weeks, but can also make a positive impact on their community by helping stakeholders like Carol with their organization's needs. This integration happens with service learning. Service learning is a credited pedagogical model in which classroom learning objectives are aligned with community service to meet both educational and community goals. Although DSLM is a design study framework and can be applied on its own, implementing it with conjunction to service learning provides additional benefits to the process by helping not only the students but also the community. Using DSLM, Dan and his classmates were able to successfully conduct an entire design study from start to finish with the Chester Square Neighborhood Association. They gathered data, analyzed them, and finally presented visualizations about the issues faced by the neighborhood association. During the process, Dan was also able to learn valuable skills through service learning. He learned skills which are unreproducible in class, such as better community engagement and a better sense of civic responsibility towards his community. It also helped him develop better interviewing and brainstorming skills, and he learned how to work with real-world, messy data. Now I would like to give you a brief walkthrough of the 7 steps in DSLM in the context of our implementation of it and service learning. The first step in DSLM is to choose a collaborator. One of the biggest difference between design study process by Settlemyre et al. And DSLM is that DSLM truncates the precondition stage of the former by shifting it prior to the beginning of the framework. In Settlemyre et al.'s framework, the precondition stage takes a couple of months or more in order for researchers to choose a collaborator through thorough winnowing. However, in DSLM, a community partner is chosen by the instructor of the course through their own connections or through the support of a service learning facility within the institution. We advocate for using a service learning facility as it simplifies the process of identifying the partners. For instance, the Service Learning Department at Northeastern University has partnerships with over hundreds of nonprofit organizations. They identify and recommend suitable projects to instructors after a 3-step filtering process. Instructors then choose a subset of collaborators from this list for students to work on during the course of the semester. This process of choosing a partner starts at least a couple of months before the start of each semester. In our implementation of DSLM with service learning, over the course of 5 semesters, students worked with 7 different partner organizations, many of whom were also recurring partners across different semesters. In stage 2, that is the abstract stage, the domain problem is identified through interviewing the stakeholders, and then the problems are translated into tasks through task abstraction. In stage 3, which is the design stage and is a very iterative one where the students clean and mine their data, draw design sketches for their visualizations, and have 2 feedback sessions to iterate on their designs and finalize one. In stage 4, which is the build stage, the students create their final web-based interactive visualizations. Let's look at some of the demos of the final visualizations that the students created for their partner organizations. These visualizations created by the students helped the partner organizations to better understand their data and enabled them to present and communicate their data more effectively to others. It also helped students to implement their classroom learning skills in the real world. Coming back to the DSLM timeline, the next stage is stage 5, where a full-scale evaluation is not feasible to complete within the time frame of the semester, so a qualitative usability study is performed in the class by each team to improve their visualizations. In stage 6, the students present their final project to the entire class, share their websites with their stakeholders, and solicit feedback. In stage 7, the students submit their design study project report, which is written in a conference-style paper format. And there you have it, design study in just 14 weeks. Now, how did DSLM perform over the 5 semesters? In each semester, students and partners were asked open response questions on their learning experience with DSLM through an online survey. We then open-coded the student and partner responses to identify the high-level themes in their responses using thematic analysis techniques. Let's see what they had to say. 4 high-level themes were identified from the students' comments. Firstly, the most common theme was students agreeing that the framework helped them better learn the concepts of the course. One of them said, "The service helped in applying course concepts in a real-world setting. We were solving real problems using what we learned in class." Many of them also felt that it helped them to make an impact on the community. They echoed similar comments like, "My service has made me interested in the idea of using data science skills to promote social good." The systematic structure of DSLM helps the students finish project deliverables in time and not leave them for the last minute. For example, one student commented, "This model not only gave me good grades, but I never got flustered." On the other hand, we also received some comments that requires improvements to the framework in the future. Few students felt that there was a disconnect between the service learning goals and their personal goals. One of them said, "A more technical project would have been in sync with what we learned in class and hence a better application of the concepts." Now let's see what the partners had to say. All the partners agreed on the effectiveness of the course and felt that the student projects were useful for their organizations. Many of them echoed similar comments like, "It provided us with a treasure trove of data and insights." They also agreed on the success of the projects and left comments such as, "The students bring great technologies and fresh eyes to our challenges." Many felt that the projects were also a learning experience for them. For example, one of them said, "It brought out trends in our data in ways we had not seen before." Therefore, overall, both students and partners agreed on the successful integration of design study project in the course, with objectives being fulfilled at both the classroom and community levels. This was reflected from the fact that they cared enough to leave positive comments on a voluntary survey. Over the course of the iterations of DSLM, we too learned some valuable insights. Firstly, even though DSLM can be applied without service learning, we advocate for the use of service learning with DSLM because it provides real-world data science experience to students. It provides professional development and future opportunities. And most importantly, students make a positive impact on the community. Now, if you are interested in implementing DSLM, here are a few things to keep in mind. Adjust prerequisites to adapt to different semester lengths. If you have a longer semester, reduce the technical prerequisites as students will get enough time to develop those. If you have a shorter one, then increase the prerequisites so that the students are technically well equipped to tackle the problems. Set goals that are feasible to accomplish within the limitations of the course. Plan ahead. For example, if you're not using a service learning facility to identify partners, make sure you're doing it way ahead of the semester. Have more tightly defined guidelines, because a strict guideline to follow will make the projects more streamlined. Define clear rules and guidelines on IP and data privacy, because you don't want to get into trouble there. And finally, maintain effective communication with both the students and the partners. In the future, we look forward to implementing DSLM in larger classes with more than 50 students. We are also excited for the use of DSLM to create short, expedited research projects. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you'll give DSLM a try and empower your students to step into the shoes of visualization researchers and make an impact in the community. If you'd like to know more about DSLM or the student projects, please read our paper and visit our website that will be shown on the screen. Thank you.